Hi, my name is Elise Humbert. I'm a sophomore and a second year Humanities student, and this is my Humanities Night presentation. This year, my project has been centered around baking. I first had the idea for this project during quarantine. Since there was a limited amount that you could do during that time, I got really into baking. I loved making things that my family and friends would enjoy, and it kept me busy during the day. However, I could really only make simple recipes or things from a box. This was frustrating because I wanted to try new things, but they all looked very difficult. That's when I had the idea that I could turn this into my humanities project for next year. At the start of my project, I was really confident and excited to get things done. I had a whole list of recipes I wanted to try to make and even created a schedule of when I would bake every week. However, this plan quickly fell through. It did not take long for me to start becoming overwhelmed with my schoolwork and start procrastinating my project. I didn't really think much of it since I had the whole year left to complete it, but it's scary how fast time flies. Soon it was early March, and I was nowhere near where I wanted to be in terms of getting better at baking. As you can see, this was my schedule, and I only made those things in the span of 2 months. Um, at this point, even the thought of trying to bake something was stressful, and I had a really hard time fitting it into my schedule. I realized that I needed to take a step back and brainstorm some ways to get back on track. Dealing with procrastination. I spent a few classes researching techniques for moving past my procrastination, and I think I finally found one or two that are somewhat helpful. I had an idea that if I promised someone to have something baked for them by a certain time, then I would have to do it. This works so well because I hate letting people down and falling through on promises. It also tied back to one of the original parts of my project, which was my love of baking things for my friends and family. So, this is some screenshots of what I found during my research, and this is some stuff I made along with some people who I gave it to. So, tactic number two. Um, The other thing that helped motivate me bake a little bit is keeping all of my work organized and in an aesthetically pleasing slideshow. I am a little bit of a perfectionist, so doing stuff like this, is actually very fun for me. First, I found a template I liked on a website called Slides Carnival, which I would definitely recommend since they have a lot of fun templates to choose from. Next, I came up with my own format for how I wanted everything to be structured: text boxes, pictures, etc. Then, as I baked, I would simply enter all the information needed into the slide and decorate it a bit with little icons I found on the same website that I got the template from. Doing this not only motivated me for my current project, but helped me realize that I enjoyed playing around with stuff like this, and it may even factor into my project for next year. So this is just an example of stuff that I would do. So the split colors is the font is kind of what I found the template on, and then see I have the name of what I baked, a description, um, a rating. I would ask my friends for a rating out of 10, and then I found the average. Feedback that they gave me, the picture of what I baked, and then the little icons and details. Progress. Um, by finally finding motivation to bake, I noticed that my skill was getting a lot better. Um, this is one of the first things that I baked. They were mini cakes with different types of fillings. Honestly, this was my favorite thing that I baked because of how cute they looked. Look at that. But they didn't taste great, and they were a little too dense and dry, which you can see reflected in the score my friends gave me and their feedback. So then later in the year, I made these marshmallow brownies. As you can see, the score has improved, and although they weren't perfect, they were better than the cakes, which you can see, from the feedback a little bit. Most recently, I made mini Dutch oven breads. These were a big hit with everyone, which you can see from the score it got. Um, and they were definitely one of the more difficult items I baked. And, disclaimer, I baked more than what I'm showing here. I just felt that these specific items showed my progress the best. So, what did I learn or improve in? So, first, accountability. I have really had to hold myself accountable this year with my project. Just like I said, I really struggled with finding motivation and procrastinating, so I've had to get a lot better with not making excuses for myself and just accepting it so I can move on with my life. I find it hard to admit to myself that I've done something wrong, and I tend to get very upset in that type of situation. However, dealing with accountability in my project has allowed me to also use that trait in other aspects of my life, like school or sports. So, flexibility. I have had a lot of other things going on in my life this year, and I've overall been a very busy person. However, once I committed to baking something, I was able to work it around anything else that might have come up in my schedule. This has actually helped me in other aspects of my life as well, like planning and deadlines. I tend to get very anxious when I have a lot of work to do or just a lot going on in my life in general. This project has forced me out of my comfort zone a little by having a lot going on at once. It helped prepare me for other busy events in my life, and while I find I still get anxious at these times, I am able to manage it better. Lastly, open-mindedness. I ask everyone I bake to give what I make them a score out of 10 and tell me what I need to work on. I learned through this that it is very hard for me to take criticism, and I've had to learn to be more open minded towards people's opinions and not take it personally. I can see this habit reflected in other parts of my life when it comes to arguments and listening to other people's opinions. I have become a lot better at listening to others' opinions even if I do not agree with them. Okay, thank you for that. That's my humanities project. Thank you for listening.